Alright guys, so let's quickly look at how our project structure is for this particular CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so the first thing that I need to explain you here is that each workflow is stored as a separate YAML file inside your code repository for CI/CD pipeline to work, right? So if you go inside the your what we need to do, we need to create a folder with a .github. Inside the .github, we need to create a folder called workflow, and inside the workflow, we need to create the YAML file which is required for setting up the pipeline. So I have created a development YAML file and then production YAML file, right? So now let's quickly go to the UiPath Studio and let me explain you how this project is structured, right? We have also another folder which is called scripts. So basically what we are trying to do here is that for performing all the UiPath operations, I mean deploying a code, running a job, managing an asset, packing a nugget, publishing a package and running a test case, we are using this PowerShell script, right? And these PowerShell scripts can be downloaded from UiPath GitHub repository. These are unofficial, scripts provided by UiPath team because they cannot provide the native plugin for all the CI/CD tools, right? They have already a native plugin available for Jenkins, native plugin available for Azure, but they don't have native plugin available for GitLab, right? Or any other CI/CD pipeline. So instead of using the native plugin, you can use the PowerShell, which basically perform the same task. So we have copied the scripts which are required for performing those tasks inside the script folder, right? And then we'll be using this script inside our workflow to perform the required task. Okay, so that's how the basic setup is. This project is pretty simple. All what I'm doing here is I have created a main workflow which is addition of a two number, right? So you can see input 1, 2 and sum is this one and is printing a sum, right? And then on the basis of this, I have created a test cases, right? So I wanted to, run a test case so that once the test case is complete, then only I should be able to publish the package to the orchestrator. So that's the reason I have created a test case as well, right? So you should be able to publish your test cases from here and you should be able to publish the project from here. So let's quickly look at the orchestrator and then I'll explain you how it's going to work. Okay, so for this example, what we are doing here is we have two tenants. One is a dev, another one is a prod. Inside the dev, what we are doing, we are publishing this process, right? Once this test gets completed successfully, right? So we have created a test cases as well, right? So if you look at the testing, you will see that we have created the test cases. This is the test case one, right? And they are part of test set, right? So we'll run this test set and once this test gets completed, then only this package will be published, right? So it is getting published from CI/CD pipeline, which is GitHub Actions, right? And this is a test case that we are going to run. And these are pretty simple. I don't need to explain you much here because all I am doing here is a simple workflow which contains two input number, addition of those, printing out the result, and in the test case, given two number, I'm using the main workflow which is here, providing those argument, and if the result coming from inside the main workflow is equal to addition of these two number, that means this workflow is working perfectly and we can say that test gets completed. So this is what actually it is doing. So let me repeat what all things that we have done here. We have a project here, UiPath project. Inside the project, we have created a folder called GitHub. Inside the GitHub, we have forget about this one. So we have a two workflow pipeline. One is a development pipeline, another one is a production pipeline. I'll discuss in detail what these pipelines are and how it will work. But we have defined the, let's, for sake of simplicity, understand the workflows are defined here. And these are the scripts which will be used inside this workflow to run the deployment, managing the assets, packing the, project in a nugget file and publishing it to the orchestrator. And then there is a test case.xml that has to be triggered using the run test case.ps file so that test case gets completed. So this is the basic structure of our project. Now let me open the workflow file and help you to explain step by steps that how I have designed this. Let me, for sake of simplicity, close all other tabs and discuss only the development workflow, right? If you have basic idea about CI/CD pipeline or basic idea about how YAML file works, so it's basically, based on, different sections, right? So the first thing that you look at this workflow file is name. So it's basically tell the name of this workflow is a development workflow. Second item that you see in this file is where it is running. So it is running on whenever there is a push event on branch develop, right? So this is, I have defined the event. So this is a workflow, and in this workflow I have defined the event. If there is a push on the branch develop, this workflow will be triggered, right? Then at row number 8 and 9 you will see that I have defined couple of environment variables, right? I have given project name, then project folder, then the orchestrator URL, orchestrator tenant, client, user key, and account number. I have shown you a different options here. So one is the project name is hard coded, right? That means we have given value inside this workflow. Project folder is a special variable, right? This variable are nothing but an environment variable exposed by the GitHub action. So you should be able to use all of those, environment variable provided by the GitHub actions. Similarly, if you look at the orchestrator tenant and orchestrator client ID, orchestrator user key and account name, they are being accessed from the secrets, right? So in the previous video where I was explaining you about the basics of GitHub action, I explained you how you should be able to define these, secrets. So these secrets are stored there. The name of secret should exactly match, right? So we are getting these values from the secrets of the GitHub action, and we are storing them here so that they can be used inside all the jobs, right? So there is a one way of defining it outside of the job so that all the jobs can access it, or you should be also able to define this environment variable here so that that can be accessed only inside the job. But for simplicity, I have defined this environment variable at the top so that all the jobs can access this environment variable. So this is the first step that we have done. Now let's look at the jobs, right? So we have multiple jobs. One is a print detail, then another one is a cleaner, then we have a build UI path, publish UI path, test UI path, create pull request, and notify. So basically, these are the number of jobs we have created inside our workflow, right? As I explained you, a workflow contains jobs. Inside the jobs, we can have steps, right? We could have multiple steps. And inside the steps, we could have multiple actions, right? So let's quickly look at the first job, which is print detail, right? And this is pretty basic. Before running anything on CI/CD pipeline, I wanted to give assurance to myself that everything has been picked up correctly, right? So I'm printing default environment variables which are given by the GitHub, right? So I am printing which Git workflow has been triggered, what is the GitHub action, who is the actor, on which repository this got triggered, what is the event on the basis of this workflow has been triggered. Workspace is a nothing but a temporary directory where your code will be downloaded and all other code will be executed. So I am printing that as well. Then GitHub SHA which is nothing but a unique, hex number which talks about the events and it provide other necessary details, right? So that's all information I am printing. The one thing that you need to note here is just below the print details, I have written a keyword pair called runs on Ubuntu latest, right? Here we are defining the runner, right? Here we are defining where this code would run, right? Where this code would run. You see the command, you see the action there is run, right? Step is printing an environment variable, and inside that step I have using an action called run, and inside that action I have used multiple action with a pipe, right? So here I am telling this job has to be completed on a runner which is provided by the GitHub on a runtime. We have not defined our on runner. We are not using self-hosted runner. We are using the runner which are provided by the GitHub action. If you want to learn more about how you should be able to create and assign your own GitHub action runner, you should look at the official documentation. But to keep this project simple, I have used the runner which is being default given by the GitHub action. So I'm using a Linux based runner to print the variable, all the variables required for the jobs, right? The next thing that I am doing is performing a cleanup, right? I wanted to clean the directory where this all steps will be triggered, right? Because sometimes what will happen is, if your workflow is stopped in a middle, you might see that there are some temporary files which are not been open written and right, and it can give you inconsistent result. I have faced this issue, when you have nugget package file which has been previously built by a different workflow are still there, and then your workflow is complaining there are multiple nugget package which has to be uploaded, right? So for sake of simplicity, we are cleaning everything inside that GitHub workspace folder. That's a temporary folder. It is created at the runtime, but even though it is created at a runtime, I am cleaning whatever the content inside that workflow workspace has to be deleted, right? So that's the reason I have written rm minus rf and the location of the GitHub workspace, which will be dynamically given. Usually that will contain the name of your GitHub repository, right? So that's the job number 2. Then we have a job number 3, which is build UiPath Nugget package. And look at this very carefully, right? Here I'll explain you multiple things what we are trying to do here, right? As all of you know that UiPath packages having some dependencies on Windows, right? So this job I am running on Windows runner. I am running it on Windows latest, and in previous jobs like print details and cleaner, we have used Ubuntu. This is just to demonstrate you how you should be able to use different runner for different jobs, right? So for this job, I am using the Windows latest, and again it will be assigned to me at the runtime by GitHub action. And that's the beauty of GitHub action, right? You don't need to create your self-hosted runner. Everything is been provided by you for free if you are using a public repository, right? Although there are some restriction in terms of number of operations you can perform, but still it's a very good option if you are setting up CI/CD pipeline in a limited resources, right? So look at the steps now, right? Again, recall the concept from the previous video. Inside a job, we could have multiple steps, right? So here you will see we have used multiple steps inside a job called build UiPath Nugget package, right? Name of the step first is checkout repository code. That's the name, and it uses action, right? That is the action. Checkout @ v2. This is already available in GitHub Marketplace. it has been given by somebody else. So you don't need to write a code. All you need to do is you need to call that action and it will perform the required task. So here we are using a action which is given by the marketplace of GitHub itself. The second step you will see here is building a Nugget package. To build a Nugget package, what we are doing here, we are performing some step, and in that step what we are doing, we are running a PowerShell. So shell is equal to PowerShell, right? And here if you look at what we are doing is whatever the script that we have kept inside our project folder, right, which is nothing but here, I'm going to trigger this PowerShell script along with some parameter which is required. So for this, building a Nugget file, I'm going to call UiPath pack.PowerShell script, which takes input what is the your project JSON file location, what is the destination folder where you want to store your Nugget package, right? Here you have multiple option of creating a revision of Nugget package and all those things. For sake of simplicity, I have not given those, but you should be able to increment the project revisions, right, which is inside your project.json file. So we'll be taking care that from UiPath Studio for as of now, but you should be able to write and change it accordingly if you want to create a auto revisioning or auto versioning, right? And then in the next step, we are using a concept called upload UiPath artifacts, right? Why we are using the concept of artifact, right? Why we are not directly publishing the package which is built here directly to the orchestrator, right? We can do that. That's not the case. But what we are trying to do is we have checked out a code here, right? And whatever the code we have checked out, that should be available for my other jobs to work, right? It's not a wise decision to check out the code in all these jobs. And what is required next other job for me, right? I have checked out a code which contains everything from here, right? Now, for our next job, what all things will require? Will only require the scripts and the Nugget package file. Rest of the thing is not required once you have built a Nugget package, right? So GitHub provides you an option where you should be able to upload your artifact page. So if you click at workflow, all the data that has to be used for your jobs will be uploaded here. So you can see this is artifact uploaded here, right? And if you download it, okay, and you open it, you will see that this contains only two folders. One is package, which is Nugget package. Another one is scripts, which is the scripts required for running the next steps. So this is the concept of artifacts, right? So I have used the concept of artifacts again using the action provided by the GitHub action to upload the file, and here I am uploading only whatever the data inside the package folder and whatever the data inside the script folder. So data inside from the package folder, which is Nugget package, and all the scripts which have extension as PS1 will be uploaded to the artifact in a zip folder. Now we'll come to the next job, right, which is publish UiPath Nugget package. So here what we need to do, we have Nugget package file already uploaded on a GitHub action portal, not uploaded on orchestrator. So we need to download the artifacts, right? Because we need to have this script as well, and we also need to pass the location of our package, right? So if you look at here, once you download this artifact, it will be downloaded to the GitHub workspace inside the package folder. So here again I am running a PowerShell. The PowerShell path is this one. Then this is a path of my Nugget package. there will be only one package because I am cleaning the workflow work location every time I run this workflow. That's the reason this cleaner job is there. So there will be only one package here, right? And then all required variables for publishing a package. So I'm giving an orchestrator URL, tenant, user key, account name. And once you give all of these things, the package will be published to the orchestrator. So with this, we have performed building a package and publishing a package. Now, what we need to do is we need to run the test cases on the package. So for this, we are again doing the same stuff. We are downloading the artifact, right? So that we should be able to run this script, right? If you do not use this, you won't be able to access this PowerShell script. So that's the reason we need to download it again, because it is in a different job. So we are again downloading it. Once it is downloaded, it will be available into the GitHub workspace. And from this script, again, you need to send the details, which is your orchestrator URL, tenant, user key, account name. And in the test set, you need to give which test set it need to be completed. So if you go to the orchestrator, you will look at, this is the test set that we have created here. So this will get executed once we complete the task, right? So I'll showcase you how it will run. So with this, the test cases will be triggered. Once this is success, right? Because if you look at here, we have used a condition as well. It needs. So once this is success, then only this will be triggered. Once this is success, then this will be triggered. And similarly, we have used another one, which is called create a pull request once test is successful. So once all of these will successful, then only this create pull request will be triggered. And here, again, we are running it on Linux because we don't need Ubuntu. All we need to do is we need to merge the code which is in the development branch to the master branch. Reason being, whatever the task we have done, it has been successfully built, successfully published to the orchestrator, and test has also been completed. So there is no issue with the code that I have written. It is safe to merge with the master, right? So that's the reason we are creating a pull request here. So you should be able to create a pull request. So you can see here, again, we are using an action called repo sync and pull request. And I am giving the GitHub token. These are the labels which will be created. And this is the pull request title we'll see on GitHub action. And at the end, I am using a notify action, which basically again is optional steps, not required, but you should be able to build a notification so that you can notify that on Slack or you can send an email, right? So it's all depends on your use cases. For this example, simply what I'm doing, I am using a Slack channel where I am sending this detail just to notify the reviewer that please review the code. There is a pull request created. All right. So this is all about the development workflow. So let's quickly go and run the development workflow, right? Okay. So for the development workflow to work, as I told you that we are not using auto revisioning. So for that, what I need to do is I need to just increment this by a number. Okay. So let's, so let me increment this by number and remember this number so that we can verify it on the orchestrator. So it is ending with 45. Let me save this. Okay. Once you have saved, all you need to do is commit this code. So all the changes will be published. I don't know why this is not required. So, but let's say added comments and whatever the changes you have done. As of now, there is no change. I mean, if you want, you can probably, put a log message here and say that a log message added or whatever you want to perform the step, you should be able to do, right? And once you commit the code, right, saying updated new and commit and push. Okay, this option will give only when your current branch is not in sync. So we can discuss, I mean, this is the UiPath Studio feature. So all you need to do is click on overwrite remote content, and the moment you do that, all we need to do here is we need to come up GitHub Actions, and you will see that the moment you submitted updated new, this is the comment, and your workflow has been triggered and it has already started. So you can see the print detail has been completed. It has, and print and cleaner is running parallelly. It is not dependent, right? Because all we need to do here is print the detail. So you can see the details of all the variables are printed here, right? So this is my repository, push event has happened. This is the location where your code is running, and this is running on your development branch. And cleaner is again simple. All it does is remove everything from this directory. And here you can also see the all our, the environment variables are available. Now look at this one. So as of now, what it has done is it has check out your code. So basically, whatever the code you have in repository, that has been put into a folder, a local folder called DA, in a D drive, and with the A, and this is a folder location where your code has been downloaded. And once that is done, it will build a Nugget package. So you can see a Nugget package has been built with the, so I'll showcase you again. So this is a job, and it has triggered this PowerShell script. Okay, and it has compiled the code, built the code, and the Nugget package ending with 45 has been built. Okay, and now once that is Nugget package is built, it will upload that to the artifact. So this file will be uploaded to the artifact, and this you can download it from here. So if you click on this, that file will be downloaded. So we don't need to download that. So it is uploaded, and then once it is uploaded, it will work on publishing the UiPath Nugget package to the orchestrator, right? So it is still running. Meanwhile, let's quickly go to the here and look at the process. As of now, it's a package 45 to the tenant, right? So we'll quickly go to the UiPath orchestrator. So as of now, it is 45, and now when I refresh, it will become 45. So you can see that. And after that, we have a testing workflow. So there is a test cases. So you will see the test execution will be triggered pretty soon. So it's running there. It's here, you can see. And now you will see the test cases is this one. This is the test set, and this is the execution few seconds ago. Source is external tool, and if you look at the detail, you will see that it has completed this particular test cases as well. So with this, the testing a UiPath package is also completed. Now it will create a pull request so that the code that we have changed can be merged with the master branch. So it has created pull request, and it has also notified on a Slack channel. So let's look at the repository here now, and then so if you look at here, you will see a pull request, right? And when you refresh, you will see a pull request here, right? And this pull request says that all the checks are passed and you need a review, and once you do a review and submit this, then the production workflow will be completed. For this video, we'll stop here. So we have seen how the development workflow will work, right? So we have seen that the development workflow is, if you look at here, first it will run the cleaner job. It will build the Nugget file. then it will publish the NuGet file. It will test the NuGet file, which is nothing but a UiPath process. So it has created a NuGet file here, publish on orchestrator, run that on UiPath orchestrator, and then create a pull request and then send the notification. So that's a development workflow. In the next video, we'll look at how the production workflow will work, right? We'll see how we need to approve the pull request, and then after the production workflow will be triggered. So